Good evening there. Apologies a day later than I said I'd be. I had a bit of an adventure over the last 9 or 10 day period, and I caught a few thunderstorms, and no doubt a lot of people in Canterbury have seen thunderstorms, especially yesterday, the 15th. But this is what I saw. I went down to Wyatti for about 7 days, and on the 10th, which was a Monday, about a week ago, this thunderstorm brewed up late afternoon into the evening over Wyatti and then drifted in a sort of like south-southeast direction. The winds through the upper atmosphere were coming in from the north-northwest, hence it sort of went in that direction. The atmosphere was conducive to storms happening, but there weren't any obvious convergence lines. But I believe what happened is the Hunter Hills, the winds were flowing over it and around it, and then at the end of the Hunter Hills, sort of where Wyatti is, about there, the winds would have sort of come around, converged, and then the storm has been the result. I believe something along those lines is what has happened. There's my wee corolla there in the foreground. As you can see, it was wet. There was some quite heavy rain that went over, some nice lightning and some loud thunder. I didn't really chase this storm too much, just more or less watched it, enjoyed it, sat there with my friend James, and we had a beer in his workshop, so we're protected from the rain and just, watched it and let it be. Thank you very much, the Beatles. And this photo here is just basically a closer version of this cumulus. Nice updraft, and then it would have gone up over there, and then the downdraft as evidenced by that rain. I was hoping for a wee bit of a funnel to pop out of this area here, but it wasn't to be. I looked at a skew-T diagram or a tephigram, which is the sort of graph that a weather balloon would produce when you send those up, but it's a modelled skew-T diagram, and I'm thinking this storm possibly reached a height of around 10,000 to 11,000 metres, which is quite high. Anyway, then, on the 15th of November, yesterday, there was quite a few thunderstorms over Canterbury. Timaru, you got some very large hail, and then mid-Canterbury northwards, especially into Christchurch, there was plenty of lightning, thunder, heavy rain, and some hail, although Timaru, you got the biggest stuff. And then there were some very nice photos of lightning, I believe some videos too, CG lightning, so that's cloud to ground lightning, and then CC lightning, which is cloud to cloud. There you go, your acronyms. Over Littleton Harbour, I saw a few photos of some rotation and videos, and that reminds me of a storm chase that I did with Mike Stewart back in September 2012. We stood under a similar area of rotation. So thank you very much for sending all those photos in, and you can check them out on the New Zealand Stormchasers group page on Facebook. Steve may chuck up a few photos here. If not, feel free to head to the Facebook pages and they will be there. Let us move along to tomorrow, Monday. This map here is just basically a bit of a reference point as to where we're at. Big anticyclone there moving away and fronts moving in from the Tasman Sea. Basically, that's New Zealand's weather in a nutshell. High, front, low, clears, then another high. There you go. So that front there moves on to the west coast. It brings some heavy rain, and there could be a chance of thunder as that moves through. Another bout of strong winds in the east. I don't think they're going to be terribly damaging or anything like that, but they could get up a bit for some inland areas, especially inland Canterbury. Up here for the North Island, there's a sort of like an area of moisture, high humidity coming in for the North Island there. The temperature profile through the atmosphere is actually very warm, but because at the surface it's going to be particularly muggy, dew points up around sort of like 18, possibly as high as 20 degrees, which is getting subtropical. That mugginess plus the heat could overcome any stability in the atmosphere, and you could get a few heavy downpours, maybe some thunder. Okay, that'll be something to watch. Then on Wednesday, that front then moves out to the east, and we get a few dregs left behind, a few isolated showers there for the North Island in the afternoon. There is some instability in those showers, but once you get to about 4,500, 5,000 metres high up, there's a bit of an inversion, so clouds are going to grow up and then hit a bit of a lid. And they may not get much further, but things could change between now and then. Just something to watch. There'll definitely be a few heavy isolated showers anyway. Then on Thursday, this anticyclone sort of envelops New Zealand and it becomes reasonably settled into like Friday, Saturday, next Sunday. Not really too much happening over New Zealand. A bit of a frontal system will brush the far south there, bring a bit of wet weather, but that's about it. Okay, we'll catch you again next Saturday. Cheers.